So I just looked at Social Security, did some basic calculations, and I'm absolutely shocked at the result. This now has me questioning Social Security, financial discipline, and financial education in America. And this today is why we're going to expose the sick truth about Social Security. Quick history lesson. Social Security was signed into law in 1935, and people started receiving their cards in late 1936. The original idea was to create a system for old age and survivor benefits designed to address the economic hardships of the Great Depression. Now, here's what's interesting. After going through my grandmother's stuff, I noticed she had her Social Security card, and check it out. It was issued on 12/4/1936. That means she would have been one of the first people to receive a Social Security card. Now, what happened before Social Security? Well, typically people would live off of pensions if they were in the military. Not a lot of companies paid pensions back then. Or, and this was commonly the situation, they would shack up with their younger kids. If your parents or your grandparents are right now in like a special retirement community, living their best life, that's first world problems. You know, if you think about back in the day, those parents would be shacking up with you. But the big question today is, do we really still need Social Security in today's environment? But now, before you run to the keyboard and say something like,
"But Bob, you don't understand. There's so many people struggling and Social Security provides a means for them."
Hold on. Let me explain myself. See, when Social Security was created in 1936, we were coming out of the Great Depression. There were a lot of people, a lot of old people, without incomes. They were screwed. Not only that, back then it was so much harder to invest. I mean, you had to go find a broker, have that broker invest in a stock for you, pay abnormally high commission fees just to invest in stocks. And by the way, we just went through the Great Depression. Who's really excited about investing at that period of time? Today, we have a much easier way to invest. I mean, the fact that you can get on something like Webull on an investment app, not pay any commissions, and be able to trade and invest for your future. I mean, people back in the 30s would only dream about something like that. But the sick truth about Social Security is how this is actually working today, all these years later. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say abolish Social Security immediately. I'm just trying to give a different viewpoint based on some factual data so we can continue to remain smart and aware of our surroundings. It's always good to have the knowledge and the power, after all. In today's environment, Social Security acts as a pay-as-you-go basis, whereas the payroll taxes collected from current workers in the workforce and their employers are used to pay benefits to current retirees, disabled individuals, and other eligible beneficiaries. The system is designed to redistribute the income from the working population to those who are no longer in the workforce, providing financial support and stability to older and disabled individuals. For an individual right now, we pay 6.2% in Social Security taxes. So let's say, for an example, you make $50,000 a year. If all else remains the same for your entire working life, 40 years later, you would have put in $124,000 of your hard-earned income into the Social Security tax. But here's my issue. Let's divide that $124,000 by the 40 years. That equals $3,100 every year that you're paying into Social Security tax. If we stop being taxed right now, and instead what we do is we're going to take that amount and invest it into the stock market, what difference would that make? Well, we take the $3,100, we invest it into the S&P 500, which for the last 100 years averaged a 10% return. After 40 years, instead of being taxed, our portfolio would be worth $1,372,036. And that's only with that $3,100 a year that you're paying in Social Security tax. Then, if we apply the 4% rule, which we talk about a lot with financial independence, you could live off of your portfolio inevitably until you're well into your 100s, and let's be honest, likely dead at that point, just keeping it real. But you could live off of $4,500 a month. But instead, if all else continues, you pay your Social Security tax, you're eligible for the benefit. When you're eligible for Social Security at the age of 65, you right now, as it stands today, if all the calculations remain the same 40 years from today, would receive $1,500 a month. Do you see the difference here? But my further issue is more so about the financial discipline and the financial education. I'm still mad at high school. I'm still mad at college that they don't really teach this a little bit more bluntly than they should. I mean, they should really be sitting us down and talking about this. Think about this. If we abolish Social Security, just hang with me for a second. And what we do is no matter what your salary is, you get your tax money back. Instead of paying for Social Security, no more 6.2%, that money now comes back to you. And you can do with it what you want. Now, what are people actually going to do? The average of people, are they going to take that $3,100 a year and invest it in the S&P 500 or any type of stock for that matter? Or are they going to take that $3,100 a year, buy the new iPhone every year, buy a brand new car, upgrade their house, and so much more? Because even though I showed that you could make $1.3 million by investing $3,100 a year for the next 40 years, how many people are actually disciplined to do that every year? And this isn't talking about people that aren't as well off. Because at the end of the day, take your salary, take 6.2% and invest that. Now, if you make over $50,000 a year, you could very well be maxing out your Social Security tax, in which case you're really getting screwed in opportunity cost. So let's be real, that money is probably going toward the new iPhone 25 that's coming out. Then people end up retiring absolutely broke. And because Social Security doesn't exist anymore, they're really out of luck. Do you work until you're dead? Or do you shack up with your younger kids? See, it takes discipline. And if you're watching this video, that actually means that you have the financial discipline and at least the interest to want to change your future. And for that, I applaud you and respect you very, very much. So if I was 25 years old right now watching this video, I would be investing $3,100 a year right now. I would find a way to save as much money. If I don't have a big salary, save as much money as possible to get yourself $3,100 a year. Keep in mind, that's only $255 a month. Somehow figure that out. And over the next 40 years, I'm going to sock that away. So when I turn 65, I'm going to have a nice sized portfolio, given that the world continues to do well. Now, of course, you're going to be double tapped because Social Security tax isn't going away. So you're going to be paying your Social Security tax plus investing. But why not have some extra money? Because if you get Social Security on top of your investment, man, you're going to be living a very sweet retirement. And instead of barely scraping by on like $1,500 or $2,000 a month with Social Security, you're going to have a beautiful nest egg to do with it what you want. Now, if you really want to scale this up, you drastically lower your cost, you find a way to increase your income, invest more money, and reach financial independence early. And we're talking retire in the next 20 years. Hell, you retire at the age of 40 if you want to, and live your best life while you're still young and healthy. So I have a question for you though. What do you think about all this? Granted, I'm not saying that, Social Security isn't a benefit, but at the end of the day, we're all getting taxed anyway to end up getting less money in the future versus if we could teach somehow financial discipline to people that they actually invest their money, maybe the world would be a better place and people would actually be taken care of a little bit better. What are your thoughts? Let's have a conversation in the comment section below. Having that financial independence, see, that gives you control. And when you have control, you can do what you want, when you want, and how you want to do it. To learn more about financial independence and how you can actually achieve this no matter how old you are right now, check out this video next. We'll see you on the next video.